So today we're going to read excerpts from chapter 6 of Varaha, Vidura, and Kapila's Srimad Bhagavatam's third canto. Chapter 6 just picks right up where chapter 5 left off. In chapter 5 we heard about the origin of the universe from the original consciousness, and then it emerges from the original consciousness, and then it gets invested with individual consciousness and time, and that the individual consciousness pushes matter to evolve into different shapes. And eventually, over billions of years, it evolves into all these building blocks of the world. But the building blocks won't combine to form any structures. They don't have the energy to combine and work together. They're just these homogeneous, undifferentiated building blocks. So chapter 6 says that Vishnu gave another push into the system, another push of energy to invigorate all these building blocks so that they could combine with one another and form actual structures. So what happened when they combined is they formed this kind of like egg. And then Vishnu goes into the egg. So this is how Vishnu becomes the Paramatma, or the Supersoul. He goes into this egg, which is a combination of all the material elements. And then, so he sort of becomes like the soul of this egg body, which is like a fetus. Remember, Maitreya said that the universe originates as a child of Vishnu and Maya. Vishnu impregnates Maya with these consciously living entities. And so this impregnation results in a fetus, and the fetus is this little egg, or it's gigantic egg, it's a cosmic egg. And the soul of that fetus is the Paramatma. So here I'll read a little bit. That original living entity was like a fetus, sprouted from the golden seed impregnated by Vishnu in the womb of goddess Maya. That fetus is the body of the Supreme Soul, Paramatma. For 1,000 celestial years, the fetus of the universal life form gestated in the water within the shell of that egg-like womb, with all consciousness invested within it. The fetus manifested a great golden brilliance from the power of its transcendent master. So what is that power? What is that brilliance? The power of the soul is consciousness, and consciousness is always described as a brilliance, a light, because it illuminates things so that you can perceive them. So when the super soul went into the cosmic egg, then it began to glow with power of consciousness. And that consciousness began to cause things to happen, because consciousness is will. So it begins to drive an evolution within the fetus, within the egg. And the evolution allows this fetus to develop the capacity for senses, intellect, mind, ego, and consciousness. In other words, it allows a material structure to transmit consciousness. The presence of the soul in matter evolves matter in such a way that it fits properly with consciousness, so that it can transmit the conscious power from the soul into the material arena. So when this Paramatma went into the egg of the cosmos, then all the building blocks of the cosmos coagulated, and they became complex, sophisticated structures which would form senses and intellectual structures, prototypes, emotional prototypes, prototypes of identity, and even just the ability to transmit consciousness into this whole thing. All that evolved within the fetus of this cosmic egg when the Supersoul entered it. Now this cosmic fetus, right, is the prototype life form. It means that it's the blueprint or the original design for all life that will exist within the universe. So this chapter 6 goes on to explain that all different types of life forms come from different parts of this cosmic original life form. Different, you might say, different strands of the DNA or different sequences of this original DNA form all the other ones, all the other life forms that come from it. So, you know, this chapter 6 goes through and says from the head the gods come, and from the feet this and that comes, and the human beings, different kinds of human beings come from different parts. But the basic idea is that this cosmic original universal being is the prototype, the original form on which all other life forms are based. So Maitreya explained all this heavy-duty cosmic stuff about the origin of the universe, and he did a pretty great job of it. But he felt that it's too difficult of a subject. He didn't do as good of a job as he would have wanted to, ideally. So he started to express something at the end of the chapter about the attempt to describe something that's indescribable. So he says, "My dear Vidura, this form of the all-attractive, this cosmic embryo, this cosmic fetus, this form of the all-attractive contains the destiny of the entire cosmos, but arises only by the strength of its own internal potency. It's not produced by any destiny. It's Vishnu's will that he creates it. But he creates it for the destiny of the individuals." So this is confusing, right? So anyway, so Maitreya says, we cannot describe it perfectly. We cannot describe it perfectly. Still, my friend, for the sake of purifying my own impure voice, I narrate this kirtan to you, explaining as much as I can comprehend of whatever I could hear about the glories of Hari. It is said, our words can achieve no greater fortune than to speak about He whose beauty is the root of the most exquisite poetry. The great fortune of the ears is to fill themselves deeply with ambrosial words about Hari, spoken by the wise. My dear child, even the original poet Brahma could not comprehend the greatness of that being. Even after striving by perfect mystic intelligence for 1,000 celestial years. So what can be said about lesser poets? The enchanting mysteries of the all-attractive bewilder mystified souls and liberated souls alike. Indeed, even he himself does not fully comprehend his own limitlessness. You see, this is the point that he's making is, yes, it's impossible to fully describe these topics, which are completely transcendental, but that doesn't mean that they can't be described at all. They can't fully be described, but they can be described sufficiently well to purify our consciousness and bring us to a liberated condition in which we can begin to directly experience them. So it's not like some people say, well, you can't say anything about the absolute truth because it's beyond you. That's not what Maitreya is saying. Maitreya is saying, yeah, the absolute truth is beyond us. We can't describe it perfectly, but the attempt to describe it as best as we can is what purifies us and makes it capable for us to comprehend it to some degree. So he concludes by saying this, unable to grasp him fully, the words, minds, and egos of all the gods fall silent. They simply fold their hands to him and say, Namaste, we are nothing compared to you.